You have a very impressive group of young leaders in this cohort. Some of the quality of the questions were very impressive when I think about the age of the participants and but of course, at the same time, it's not that surprising, right? I mean, these are young leaders, and in so many ways, their views and their perspectives are shaped by a world right now with incredible amount of diversity of information and access to information. And so I was both surprised and also very much a part of that conversation with the participants there. But when I think about some of the questions, particularly around economic policy and around specifics of governing and about the challenges that you face when governing, which is a very nuanced, very, very real challenge. The participants were keyed in. I mean, they completely understood and very much were a part of that level of conversation of people who, spend a lifetime in this space of policymaking and that. So it was impressive. There was no question. Very impressive group. Well, I think at its core, the idea of Model G20 and Nova Academy's bringing together of participants, from 13, in this case, countries and 120 participants, is the value of that in so many ways, the challenges that we face in the world today. And that is, it breaks disunity and increases unity, right? Any opportunity to bring people together to talk and to have dialogue in times of change increases our sense of togetherness and decreases conflict. And I'm always a believer that that conversation and speaking in times of challenge is the key path to reducing conflict and reducing the chance of conflict. So when I think about the very specific element of the conversation, about policymaking and the idea of government budgeting and that, I think the benefit for students and for participants in that way was having a practical understanding of how you bring change to a society and how you bring change at a governing level. And again, going back to the first question, the level of comprehension, the level of understanding by the participants was both surprising and not surprising at the same time. But it really just, the sense was this group of young leaders really get this, and they see the value and they understand how to use this as a tool. So very impressed by that on my part. And then at the broader level, again, when you bring people together, and particularly young leaders and people who are still forming their sense of the world, you make for a better world. You make for a world that it has a common sense of understanding. When I think of my own personal experience, and my mother is a woman that whose family is American and British. My father is Argentinian. This sense of our world being connected and people from everywhere having the same challenges and the same hopes. As soon as you can, and the earliest you can get that into a young leader's mind, it makes for a much healthier, much happier, much safer world. So really supportive of the intention of this gathering. Yeah, so I think that I can't speak directly to any sort of policy perspectives that the Model G20 has taken on the topic, because I frankly don't know the specifics of policies, but that have been taken by Model G20 on this topic. But I can say that the general philosophy and general belief that Model G20 has to, again, bringing people together around a common challenge aligns directly with my personal belief and also with the experience that I've had in government and in the private sector. And that is this idea that the more people you can bring from the most diverse parts of the world and the most diverse sorts of thinking increases the quality of the solution and increases the analysis of the problem. So the more people you can bring to a challenge from different belief systems, the more people you can bring to a problem from different parts of the world and different experiences of life and different economic experiences early in life and in different stages, different education, et cetera, the higher the quality of the solution is going to be. And so when I think about the Model G20, when I think about the G20, when I think about the UN, when I think about my work in government and my work in the private sector, the most successful experiences that we have had of solving big problems is when you have the most diverse and inclusive sorts of organizations and the most diverse and inclusive sorts of thinking around the challenges that you're facing. We are at a moment in history right now that is unprecedented in a lot of ways, right? We have a global health pandemic that is challenging so many people. We have an economic crisis that is harming and challenging businesses and individuals finding work and trying to find work and losing jobs. We have people that are scared. We have a world that is in a lot of almost a state of crisis, trying to figure out how to address this. And when I think of the young people that are gathered here in this organization today, trying to think about how you bring solutions to these key challenges, what I would offer and remind folks and participants is that at the end of the day, the solutions that are going to come to this world for the biggest challenges we face today and we face tomorrow will come from the actions and the decisions and the choices that you each take. And each of these individuals and individual participants and leaders, young leaders, take. So it's about individuals bringing their ideas to action. There's no opportunity to stand behind the line right now. We need people involved, and we need to get out in front of these challenges. And I think that's what this organization is doing. And that's, I think, what Model G20 is bringing. It's bringing young leaders to the macro challenges that we're facing today. Events like this that expose you to the world's challenges and to the ways that the world is trying to address these at a young age were the most formative experiences that I had. And between the problem solving and the connection with people from all over and everywhere, that helps you see how much bigger the world is than the circle that's around you. And any time that you can see and feel and experience the role of having to sit in the chair that makes change and not just think about it or hear it, actually experiencing taking command and trying to make change in this world is a valuable experience. And it's one that I think stays with you. And that is the process of growth, right? And so when I think of my experiences at the exact age of the participants of this summit, those lessons that I learned, the lessons of the connection that I have with everyone from every walk of life in this world, the connections that I have with people from every country in this world, and the ability to believe in ourselves and to know that we are individually capable of bringing the change that we need in this world, I think is a very powerful tool. And it has formed my career. And when I think about today, the lessons that I learned from those early experiences, I can directly trace them back to experiences like this. So it's a very powerful tool for someone at that age.